Okay, so you guys coming off a bye week there. So how did that do you guys some good just to have some time off to kind of rest and recover there a little bit?
Yeah, some of that for the players, rest and recovery. Some for us as coaches, make sure we do our self scout and seeing kind of what all our tendencies have been, offense, defense, special teams, and being able to work on some new stuff, and then also getting back to some fundamentals, especially for these young guys getting reps and just getting back in the swing. So it was a good off week, and looking forward to getting back this week and started off good today with a good Tuesday practice. So we'll finish out the week and hopefully prepare the right way in order to give ourselves a chance to win.
You've been able to this week with your guys, and especially the Attaway, because you mentioned that you might be able to be available this week. Where are you guys at?
I feel good. Oscar practiced today, so kind of see how he finishes up the week, but I feel pretty good about it.
Looking back at that Middle Tennessee game, what was your biggest takeaway from an offensive perspective about what y'all can carrying moving forward?
Just shows you once, execution's key. Everybody just doing their job, making routine plays over and over again. Don't get bored with that. And you got to take care of the football. Obviously, in the first quarter, we struggled with that same thing and got us back on our heels a little bit. But once we settled in, I thought Bean stepped in and had a huge spark for the offense and did a lot of good things and just executed, made the simple routine plays. And because of that, we got into rhythm. And there in the second half, we were able to wear them down a little bit and focus in on a run game and kind of pound it out.
Oh, it sounds like you're going with Bean this week. Is that the case?
Yeah, well, that's who we'll start off with.
You feel good about him, and after the way he played so well last week.
Yeah, I do. I felt good about them. Both those guys, again, have had some, good games to where they've played really solid, and both of them have struggled in games. And so, I felt like this is an opportunity to where both of them are going to have a chance to perform this season and continue to get better. They're still both young in the sense of playing experience, and there's going to be some bumps in the road, but. I thought he did a terrific job this past week. He's just got to build on that and continue to trust the guys around him to make do their job. And all you got to do is manage the offense.
How do you feel like Jason's strengths kind of match up with UTEP's defensive style, or just how they kind of play?
Well, UTEP, I think they do a really good job defensively, and not only scheme-wise. They play multiple different fronts, whether it's 4-man, 3-man, or bear. But I also think they have really good players. I think up front, it's their strength. I think they're really big up front, and their D tackles do a great job. Their D ends and pass rushes, and then in the back end, they do a good job with some of their cover stuff. So it'll be interesting to kind of see again what they're going to give us. I think going into each game, you kind of look. They kind of have a theme that they're kind of going in with that week. So we're going to have to. See what they're doing and make adjustments quickly early in the game. But, I think, like I tell our guys all the time, it's more focused on what we do. We have answers to things that we want to do within our scheme, and we got to make sure that we do a good job as coaches to make those adjustments early if need be. And two, we just got to do a good job of just executing overall.
So you do like how Jason Bean's kind of matches up with a heavier front set from UTEP?
Well, I think he's a strong matchup for anybody. With his athleticism, the way he can spin the ball, I think he creates matchup problems, and I also think that about Ani. You haven't been able to see some of the quarterback run game with Ani as well. So, I think they match up well. I think, if the thing with Bean is he can throw it around, but if he needs to, he can get you out of trouble with his legs, and he's athletic enough in space once you give him a little seam, and he can take it to the house, and so that's definitely a threat.
Does a game like that, Coach, do a ton for Bean's confidence, or was his confidence shaken at all prior to that, or how can that help him going forward, just to know that he's put that on film, that kind of performance?
Well, I think anytime you go out there and perform well adds confidence, and we've talked a lot about that. I mean, it doesn't matter what position you're at, and so that's obviously has helped him. I think he's had good work these past through our off week, and he had a good day today, and so It's always going to build that confidence, and I don't think his confidence was shaken by any means. Obviously he wants to perform at a high level each and every time he steps on the field, and I don't know if it was shaken per se, maybe frustration at times, but that's just part of it. That's part of being able to mature at this position. There's only so many of these guys that go out there every Saturday and get the opportunity to play that position. And so, I think both those guys have handled it well, and I don't think it's any different for Austin. I don't think his confidence is shaken either. And I think, like I've said before, we'll need both those guys moving forward in order to help us win football games. And I feel like we have two quarterbacks that can get the job done.
Coach, looking at the offense, what do you see just as the play caller, seeing success? The numbers are there. Obviously, you guys are among the nation leaders in offense. Just what do you see practice each and every day, each and every week, just improvements on them having such an efficient offense?
Well, I just think overall, just everything, whether it's been in the run game up front, seeing different pressures, our different run keys, with the quarterbacks, being able to read people in the RPO game, understanding that we got to play physical all the way around. That's at every position, out on the perimeter, blocking, which we did a nice job of that the other day when we were throwing some screens to Darden. They did a good job on the perimeter. And it's just part of, learning the system, and it has changed. Obviously this season we've played a little bit different. The terminology hadn't changed as much, but there are some ins and outs to it that, you got to be continually evolving and getting better. And so you're always having to work to improve whatever it is that you're doing.
Talk a little bit about UTEP's offense. It seems like they've kind of found something there with Hankins at running back, at the quarterback they're running. Do you think they're improved over the last time you've seen them?
I think Dana's doing a great job at UTEP. They play extremely hard offensively. I think they found kind of what they're looking for in their quarterback, and he can spin it. He can make all the throws on the field. I think they got really good backs. I think their running back is a big dude who can get downhill. He's a very physical guy. And they mix up their personnel groupings with 10, 11, 12. So they're doing a nice job overall, and I think a lot of it's just the mentality and how they're playing and how hard they're playing. They're in every game. And I think it's one of those games that you're going to have to play extremely well in order to have success.
You guys ran it a lot last week, maybe more than you have in the past. You've always said you'll do whatever it takes to win a game. You see your running game as kind of being more an identity for this team, especially with Jason at quarterback?
Well, we got to be able to run the football. That's something that when we have our most success, it's because we have run the football well. You look at the two games that, we've had over 600, 700 yards, whatever it is. Our run game has really taken off. I think we had 300 and something yards rushing one game and 400, over 400 this past game. And so that's something that we're looking for. We want to be able to establish a run, and I think that's going to really help us, especially in the second half when you're wearing people down and, those splits get a little wider and those safeties have a harder time getting there, and maybe they're gassed a little bit. You got to be able to lean on people. And there in the fourth quarter, to be honest with you, we kind of flipped the script a little bit and try to take some air out of the ball, keep our defense off the field as much as possible. And you got to have, there's got to be times like that where you can pound the football. And so I thought we did a nice job with that this past week, and I think that's a big reason why we had success. If we have to sit back and drop back and throw it 40, 50 times, that's really not what we're looking for. If that's what we have to do to win a game, that's what we'll do. But ultimately, we want to be able to mix in the run, play action, and take shots.
You see the running game as maybe having emerged as one of your biggest strengths with this team, just with the running backs you have and being on top of it?
Yeah, I think so. We've done a nice job here. A couple games run the football. There's been some games that we struggled a little bit more. But overall, I think it can be a weapon. And that's, again, we want to continually be a physical offense, and that's part of being a physical football team.
Is this being kind of compared to any other offenses you've had in the past where you had a dual threat guy that you felt good about running the ball?
Probably most recently was North Carolina. with Marquise Williams. You know, we had some quarterback run game, but we had really good backs who could get the ball downhill, and then we would play action and take our shots. And so that's probably a little bit more similar to what we are right now. You know, but we've had to do it a lot of different ways, from Foles throwing it 40 to 50 times a game, being more air raid, to, you know, at Indiana, we were more, you know, we established a run, and it was kind of a little bit more like this. And so, you know, whatever we have to do to win games and you know, put our guys in the best situations. But as of right now, I think that can be a strength for us, and we just got to continue to grow on it.
Coach, what do you see from Larry Nixon on just some of his defensive playmaking abilities just this season?
Yeah, he's. I thought this past week he had a really good week, and a lot of those linebackers, and really defensively, we struggled just keeping guys in, having weeks of practices to where we can have some type of continuity of what we're doing. You know, it seems like this past week, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago, was the first week we had a full crew that practiced an entire week. And so when you don't know what you have coming into a game as the preparation leading into the game, that is a big deal defensively, because you don't really know what you need to do, whether it's what your personnel is up front at linebacker, who you're going to put in there, and how you have to protect it, and what coverages you need to do. And I just think we've had some hard luck, to be honest with you, defensively more than anything, of just testing and tracing. So I thought he had a great week this past week. I thought he had a good week of preparation, all those guys. He played extremely hard. I think he kind of got back to where he was in a little bit better football shape than when he came off quarantine for 14 days. It's challenging. They work out and they do the best they can, but you know, there's only so much you can do with the opportunities, I guess the resources you have when you're in quarantine. So that's going to happen, and it's part of it right now. That's the world we're living in, and we just got to do the best we can of keeping guys healthy and trying to have weeks of practices where we can get some continuity.
Coach, pardon the non-football question here, but with Election Day fast approaching, I was just curious what your thoughts were on the recent measure approved by the NCAA regarding the first Tuesday in November going forward, to give, you know, basically prohibit practices and games, to give student athletes a chance to be more civically involved. I just wondered, you know, what your thoughts are on how beneficial that can be to a student athlete's growth.
I think it's great. I think it's a great opportunity to continue to look. We're still educators, we're still mentors, and still trying to help these men grow, and that's part of it. You know, I think we have a duty to go out there and vote, and I think that's everybody's voice, that you can be able to go out there and share your voice and understand that you know, this elections, they're big, and so I'm glad the NCAA's done that. We'll be off that Tuesday. We'll actually practice the evening before, so we'll make it happen, and I think it's a good thing.
Thank you.
You guys have a chance here to start stringing some wins back to back. Is that important for you? I mean, obviously you want to win as many games as you can, but is momentum an important thing here to try to start getting things rolling?
There's no doubt. You know, I think you said it, momentum. The more wins you put on top of each other, the more it builds the confidence, the continuity, understanding week in and week out what it takes to win games. You know, I think once you get that momentum, you know, I think it's not only the preparation, the morale, the excitement, the energy, but also when you're not on that streak, I think at times in games to where you've had some hard times or had some hard luck, sometimes it's easy. You got to be mentally tough, because it's very easy to go, oh, here it comes again. It's the old crap. Here this bad stuff happens again, and so. That's what we can't do. That's something we've stressed. You got to keep grinding, you know, through every game, you're always going to face that adversity. We got to overcome it as a team, and the more wins you stack on top of each other, I think the better it is, obviously.
You know, it's coming up on the 7th anniversary of the stand. I don't know if that's way long before you were ever here, but Halloween night was the night they had the 8-play goal line stand against Rice several years ago now. Has anybody ever talked about that, or have you ever seen the highlight of it?
I haven't. I need to, though. I need to see it. I have not seen it.
I thought I'd give it a shot. But anyway, it's a 7-year anniversary when you guys play on Saturday of that. It's one of the more memorable moments of recent years. I was also working on something on Dion Noville for later in the year. You talked a little bit about Dion and how talented he is. Do you think Dion's an NFL caliber player? You think he's got that type of ability?
Well, I think he has an opportunity. He's just got to, like everybody. It takes a lot of hard work. There's only a select few guys that are able to get to that level and get in with a team that they're a great fit with. I think that's a lot of it, the fit. But yeah, do I think he has the potential? Absolutely. Just like all of our players, they got to continue to work and prove that if that's a goal of yours, you're going to have to set yourself apart somehow. If you want to play at that next level, you got to start preparing and training like a professional right now. And he's doing those things. I thought this past week he had his best game. He's a big guy up front, that played more across the line of scrimmage, which was good to see. I know he has the potential, but we'll talk about that stuff down the road. He still has a long way to go, a lot to work on, but I think, there's no doubt in my mind he has the potential.
Coach, how many times have you looked at the 4 Doink field goal? Have you ever seen anything like that?
No, that's wild right there.
How much has Dion grown since he's been with you guys?
I think he's grown a lot. He's always been a great teammate. That's just his personality. He's going to do everything you ask him to do as a coach, which is a huge start. But he's always been that. And he's done some really good things for our program. And I think he's grown a lot, not only matured on the field, but continuing to grow and mature off the field, along with all of our guys. I think, he's another one of those players that is a lot of fun to coach because they come to work every day and give you all they have.